Broadcasting from the iHeartMedia studios in Syracuse, New York, this is Craft Brewed Radio with your hosts, Ronnie Miller and Eric Sleeper.
Welcome to episode 3 of Craft Brewed Radio. With me, as always, my host, Eric Sleeper.
Cheers. What's shaking, man?
Everything's good, man. Again, still kind of getting over the sickness, man. It's been so cold in the Northeast, like ridiculous. It was like negative 20 yesterday, negative 20 today with a wind chill. It's just, it's always a good reason to stay inside and drink.
Yeah, and that's essentially what I did this weekend, exclusively. I sat in my house and drank Belgian quads and watched people shovel and snowblow while I sat inside, wasting away. Well, actually, it was a good time. It was a really good time.
I'm glad to hear
that.
Sort of. It can be tough, especially with neighbors. You know, I let my neighbors use my snowblower, and they usually bring me over like a 6-pack. Like, hey, thanks, dude. You know, you got us out of a tough thing. So that it's funny because you work hard, and then you let somebody borrow a tool or something. They repay you with beer.
Well, you're lucky. You seem like you're a good neighbor, and you live in a neighborhood where people help each other out. There's a guy next door to me that has a snowplow, and he goes out and he drives up and down the street while he watches me snowblow one pass at a time or shovel one scoop at a time. I'm like, hey, buddy, if you wanted to swing through and make my life a little easier so I can get to work, I'd greatly appreciate it. But I wouldn't want you to go out of your way. I know you're retired. You probably got a bridge game you're already late to. Yeah, so that's kind of the story of my life. The guy drives up and down the street all day with the plow, whatever. Yeah. But,
neighbors can be neighbors. What are you going to do? Hey, what's your show beer today?
Show beer.
What are you drinking?
This is Chimay Brewing Company Detour Double IPA. 9.5% alcohol, and it's pretty damn tasty.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's pretty tasty, man, yeah.
I got a Victory 19th Anniversary Session IPA. It's pretty good. Again, great sessionable. A little bit bitter. Definitely taste the hops. I've been to Victory down in Pennsylvania. It's a great place, man.
Yep.
Like really, really cool. Great food. Fresh beer. We actually bought a keg when we were down there of Golden Monkey. Dude, Golden Monkey will rock your socks off.
Yeah.
And that was a wedding beer. After 2 glasses, you're on the floor, man.
Wow.
It is boozy.
Yeah, I've had a handful of Victory beers, and I don't think I've had a really terrible one at all. They're all pretty good, pretty solid, solid stuff.
Kind of know what they're doing.
And I took a sip off of that one before we went on the air here, and I thought that was pretty good. The thing is, with the session IPAs, it's getting to the point now where you have one, and there's so many that kind of just get blended together. Like I had the Sam Adams new session IPA, oh, God, I can't think of the name of it now. The Rebel something.
Rebel Rouser.
Was it Rebel? That was the double IPA. Yeah, whatever their session IPA is. I had that over the weekend, and it's just kind of like, it's reminded me a little bit of that. It's just there's nothing wrong with it. It's mega hoppy at a low ABV, which is what it's supposed to be, and you can have 6 of those.
That's exactly what a session beer is supposed to be.
Right.
Low ABV, but still tasty.
Right.
Like you can pound through a 6-pack of them and not feel too drunk.
Yeah, but this kind of proves the whole theory that you can make great beer at a low ABV, which our friends at InBev would kind of have you think otherwise. They have low ABV but no flavor. You can have flavor and low ABV. You don't have to drink a 12% bomb every day.
Yeah.
You can have a nice 4.5% session IPA.
Yeah,
you can have it all day, brother.
Speaking of Budweiser, you want to hit up some beer news?
Beer news.
Now it's time to check the temperature of the beer world, and we're sticking the thermometer in deep. It's time for beer news.
Wow, that thermometer went in extra deep this week, I feel like. That was something else.
Because you got the flu, man.
Yeah.
You got the flu.
Yeah, well, the sicker you are, the further they stick it in. Budweiser sparking congressional action or potential congressional action. Right after the Super Bowl aired, the Super Bowl commercial aired, a couple of representatives in our House of Representatives, Senator Ben Cardin and Susan Collins, the Democrat and Republican, introduced legislation that is intended to prop up the craft beer world, essentially by giving them a tax break.
It's awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty cool. And the legislation, I have it here, seeks to foster small breweries, local jobs, all those types of things, and cutting down the tax rate from $7 to $3.50 for the first 60 barrels a brewery churns out.
Oh, the 60,000 barrels?
Yeah.
That's insane, dude.
So that's a lot of barrels. There's an awful lot of breweries that produce less than that are out there.
That's good.
So, yeah, it's pretty sweet. Then you can get, we don't have to turn this into a whole, political, economic type argument, but the whole theory of making it a little easier on the smaller guys.
Yeah.
It's
always a good thing. And it's funny because even here in New York State, a lot of breweries are popping up, on a monthly basis. At least 1 or 2 new breweries are popping up, and a lot of it's stuff in New York State. I mean, it's if you buy stuff that's local, meaning you get your water source, you get your hops, you get your malt. If you can find it local, there's huge tax breaks in that.
Yeah.
And breweries like that, and I think it does make the beer probably taste a little bit better.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
that.
Yeah, it's good idea. We'll see how it goes. I still think that there could be a potential for a bubble in this whole movement that we're seeing.
Yeah.
It's going to be impossible for all these breweries that open every single day to sustain themselves for 5-10 years. But of course, you want all of them to succeed. You want all of them to do well. But the process might shake itself out naturally. But this seems like it would be a good way to make things a little easier. Take some of the burden off local brewers and the job creators and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Well, the biggest microbreweries, like Sierra Nevada, Sam Adams, still technically
hardly micro, really.
Right.
When you think about it,
No,
it's
it's
really
true.
Yeah,
but this will still give them a little bit of a break. At least for this first 60,000 barrels, which is really, really great to see.
Yeah.
Not that Sam Adams or Sierra Nevada need it, but hey, maybe they'll come out with a couple extra beers, and it's not a bad thing to have extra beers from either of those companies.
Absolutely. And the next new thing here, I just saw this. This is a little quick story. Breakfast Stout, Ronnie Miller, from Founders,
big fan,
is illegal in the state of New Hampshire.
Wait,
Did you know
legitimately?
That? Legitimately illegal in the state of New Hampshire.
Was it ABV or something?
No, that's a good.
I thought
reason,
it'd be the ABV.
And it's not the ABV. It is because advertising of liquor or beverages shall not contain any references to minors, pictorial or otherwise, in alcoholic advertising.
There's a baby on the front of their beer eating oatmeal.
They're afraid when you see the babies are going to see the baby and say, you know what? I want an imperial stout right now. I want a big, rich, I want coffee and chocolate and 8, 9, 10% ABV. I want that right now because there's a baby with a spoon in his mouth that is going to create an epidemic of
mass
young
proportions.
Babies. Yes.
Well, it's
throw all the Gerber food away. Substitute it with Founders Breakfast Stout.
There's probably some iron in it and stuff. It's probably healthier for them in the long run if you really think about it.
Well, yeah. Well, so there is legislation underway to change the law, I guess, and whatever. We'll see what happens with that whole thing. I just thought it was pretty funny because this kind of goes back to the whole Joe Camel type,
the
a
Marlboro,
camel,
Yeah.
But this is a craft beer that is a big, huge stout, just a huge breakfast oatmeal stout, whatever you want to call it. To say that it's like kids are going to be attracted to it.
I know it's like Mikey. I'm trying to think. Does it really? I'm trying to think of what other beers like have a great label. I mean, when you see the breakfast stout, without even reading, you know it from 2 aisles down from the supermarket.
Right.
And
there's other things that are kind of weird, like Smutty Nose makes a Bouncy House IPA. Have you ever seen that?
I just had it at a Brewfest, and it was tasty.
The bottle is I've kind of felt like a pedo buying it because it's like, you're looking at it and there's kids like jumping in a bouncy house, and I'm like, am I going to get like blacklisted if I buy this? Is this like a test or something? But that seems to be kind of a gray area. Doesn't that appeal to kids too? I don't know. And that was more direct, I guess, than more of a caricature of a baby.
That's the thing. It is a cartoon of sorts. It's not like a picture of somebody's kid. On the front. I don't know.
Whatever.
I just stick to the labeling, weird. I guess it would be funny if what they should do, like what Lagunitas did, was censored. Remember, they couldn't do, they couldn't say 420 or something like that on their bottles, right?
Yeah.
So they just put censored bar over it. So now if they just black out the kid's eyes, or maybe put a beard on them, and it ends up being a dwarf instead of a little kid.
Put a beard on him. Put like a face tattoo on the baby.
It's like little person.
It's not a baby. He's a little person.
He's a little person. With a beard eating oatmeal stout.
What they should do is like change, instead of the baby like having a spoon in his mouth, have him like smoking a big cigarette instead of the spoon.
Totally,
that would
totally
be
cool, man.
Absolutely. And the other news, and this is kind of old, and I've been pondering about bringing this up the last couple of shows that we've been doing. Stone, my favorite.
I know.
Okay, we know the story.
I know. It's your favorite brew.
I get on my soapbox with Stone. But Stone is cutting out 2 beers that are, one of which is really kind of near and dear to me. The Levitation Amber Ale was one that I never was particularly fond of or anything like that. I've only had it once, but I thought it was pretty good. But the one that was really a surprise that they are cutting out of production, not going to make anymore, is their Sublimely Self-Righteous Ale, which is their black IPA. And for a lot of people, it was their first IPA or the IPA that turned them on to the style in general. So that was just such a bummer. I just didn't get it. I don't know the what happened behind closed doors as to was it not selling or whatever, but God, when I think of black IPAs, I think of Sublimely's at the top 2 or 3. It's just kind of it'd be like Founders getting rid of Breakfast Stout. It's like, why would you do that? It seems like it's such a huge it has such a huge place in the whole beer community. I thought it was just a sad
I know
piece of news.
Yeah,
I know.
you were really sad. But the one thing I do like about Stone is that they're constantly churning out amazing new beers. I mean, they're constantly. I mean, look at that Japanese green tea thing that just came out.
Yes.
Look, I mean, their enjoy buys are constant. I mean, those are new. You have to think that's new packaging, that's new brewing. You know, they're really pushing out a lot of great stuff at all times. Now, the black IPA thing, I think it kind of went its course. I really think that they, saw the writing on the wall. Like, okay, black IPAs are done. People are more into they want to really burn their tongues off. I think that's what they're looking to do.
Well, I guess at the same time, Stone has always been an aggressive brewery. I don't know if they've ever paid super close attention. I mean, God, their flagship beer is Arrogant Bastard, which came out in the mid-'90s.
Oh, yeah.
But that beer, when people had that in the 90s, man, that was like an insane. No one was doing that. People were like, "Are you absolutely nuts?"
Yeah, that stuff wasn't on the shelves
for putting that type of beer out. So it's just sad because it was the first black IPA I ever had. It was unlike anything that I'd ever had. It was mega hoppy, but still had that roasty malt character to it. And it's just an amazing, amazing beer. So if I could see it still and I could see it fresh, I'm going to pick up a couple of bombers and maybe I'll pour one out.
This one's for you.
That would be a waste.
This one's for me.
Yeah.
Well, let's hit. You want to hit Beer Radar?
Beer Radar.
Beer Radar.
Beer Radar for me. Coming up in the next couple of weeks here, Great Lakes Chillwave Double IPA, formerly Alchemy Hour.
Is that what it was called?
Yes. It used to be called 2 years ago. Last year, that was the first year they called it Chillwave. It used to be Alchemy Hour.
I don't think I've had it. But then again,
dude, blasphemy.
Shame
on you,
I don't
Ronnie
think
Miller.
I have had it, though. The thing is,
dude.
I've got a cousin that lives in Cleveland. Excuse me. So he's...
That's
Sorry.
like the first CBR live burp on air.
Sorry.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ronnie.
Sorry about that.
My God.
But the thing is, my cousin lives in Cleveland, so he's always trying to get the good stuff. He's always trying to get me, like when they did the Blackout Stout barrel aged stuff, he waited in line for me. Didn't come out with any, but he did wait in line for me. So I've got the connection there. So he's always they discontinued Glockenspiel. I remember that beer was fantastic. It was kind of in the realm of like an Oktoberfest, that type of thing. And there was a couple other ones. Lake Erie Monster is another one that you just don't see enough around, at least in our area.
Well, yeah, it was around last year to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But Chillwave Double IPA, last year when I was really going through this crazy IPA phase, some people go through a Beatles phase or a Grateful Dead phase. I was in this really big IPA phase around this period of time last year, and this was one of the best double IPAs I think that I've had. I don't know if I've had a better double IPA. Definitely, I think for my money, it is the best beer that Great Lakes makes.
Look at
overall.
this! Look at this!
Look at you! You have had it.
No, this is great.
You
this
have
is
not
why I
had
loved Untapped. Because the picture says Alchemy Hour Double IPA.
Yes. Did you give it 2 stars?
No, I didn't. I gave it 4.5.
Okay. See?
And this legit stuff. I'm not even messing around here.
Yeah.
I did give it a decent thing. And when all my friends are going, where did you find that? My dad, the beer snob, we've turned him into a monster that shares. He gave me 2 bottles of Iron Throne 2. So basically,
yeah,
it's great. You have to put out your feelers to find stuff that you can't find. So this Double Wave, Chillwave Double IPA could eventually maybe get the following of I'm not going to say heady topper, but I guess what I'm saying is maybe like a Hop Slam. Where it starts, Great Lakes is really starting to rebrand themselves again. And I think that this might be something that they can really kind of set their sights on and continue to do it. So when's it going to be in store? Do you know?
Yes, it is going to be at the Brew Pub or at their store there on February 21st. And then the following week, the week of February 23rd, which I think is a Monday, it'll be out in distribution markets in 4-packs that week. So that looks amazing. I was fantastic last year. One of the best beer, in my opinion, that Great Lakes makes.
Yeah, she's high octane. She's 9.4. So
she's a big girl.
She puts her big girl pants on.
Yeah, you got to butter her hips to get her through the door. She is
for yoga
big girl.
pants.
Yeah. You don't want. I don't know if you want yoga pants. She's a big girl. But
okay.
Anyways,
pillow pants.
Love that girl though.
Yeah, she's sexy, man.
Who's on your beer radar, Ronnie Miller?
So when we're writing up our list, we've got, you're like, oh, what's on yours? And I'm like, you know what? I've got to say this. Dinner from Maine Beer Company. Every time I'm on Reddit, on the beer subreddit, somebody always posts a picture of dinner from Maine Beer Company. And I'm just like, oh my God, where do I find this? I cannot find this in the central New York area. Have you ever had it?
I've never had it, but I have had. That's two. Okay,
sorry.
You got one more, and then I'm kicking you out of here.
You're such a gentleman. Like my mom yelling at me.
I've had another one from Maine Beer Company, which I've heard some people say is better than dinner.
It's called Another One.
It's called Another One. Okay. It's a double IPA. It is fantastic. It's unbelievable. It was great.
How fresh was it? Do you remember?
Mega fresh. It was like 3 weeks old.
See it?
It was just a baby.
And that's one thing I do like about Maine Beer Company is that they actually say on the bottles, like, you got to drink this within 3 months.
Yep.
90 days.
Well, around here, this type of stuff, when Maine Beer Company, at least in Syracuse, and I'm sure any other market they're distributed to, as soon as it hits the shelves, it's gone. At our local bottle shop here, they post it on Facebook that they got it. They either take call-ins or people say, hey, could you set me aside some or whatever?
Yeah, on
set
Facebook
me aside some or whatever.
Twitter.
And then people come in and it's gone before it even hits the shelves. It just goes super, super, super fast. But I think it came around once in Syracuse, once or twice maybe.
Okay.
And when it does, it's gone. But I'm always on the lookout for that.
Well, that's the thing.
Always.
And that's, I think I'm going to kind of, set my feelers out a little bit deeper. I got some friends in New York. I got some friends down south. I got some friends even, in the way upper northeast in Maine. So I got to really kind of...
Let's just drive to Maine, dude, just to get... if the wives ask, say, we're going to get dinner.
Yeah, we're going to get dinner.
We're going to get dinner.
Maybe a little lunch.
Yeah, we might have dinner or lunch, and we might have another one. Wow, you can do... Okay.
So that's really good to hear. Let's do new brews, yeah?
New brews?
Now it's time to...
Oh, I hit the wrong one. God.
What beers are new to you? Let's do new brews.
You're totally disrupting the rhythm of the show, Ronnie. You're jeopardizing the integrity of the show today between the burps and the board malfunctioning. So.
Can I be honest with you? I haven't eaten much today. So this session beer is kind of like...
Whoa. Yeah, you're going to be sideways after that. It's not too sessionable for you.
Well,
I can tell you a beer that's not too sessionable at all.
I'm sure.
That if you do sesh it, you're going to end up in trouble.
Yeah.
That is the Chimay Blue Cap, the blue bottle. There's like 3 Chimay beers that are readily available.
Gold, red, and blue.
Yeah, in blue. So this week, I had seen Chimay on the shelves for as long as I can remember. And I never had, like I've been saying, relatively new to the whole Belgian quad, Belgian style in general.
Yeah,
never picked
they're
one
daunting.
up.
They're expensive and they're daunting.
They're expensive. Well, I got the little guy.
Oh, you did?
The little guy. Yeah.
Nice.
So it was like $5.99, I think, for a little guy, which is still whatever. But picked one of those up this week. Fired it up on Saturday, and wow, dude,
Loved it, didn't
it's just an amazing, probably one of the best Belgian quads I've had of the limited amount that I have had. I think it's on the level of the St. Bernardus App 12. It's on the level of 3 Philosophers and like beers like that of that caliber. Man, you just smell this thing. It's like big brown sugary dark fruits, prunes, figs. It has that kind of monk funk to it, a little bit of that monk funk.
Oh yeah,
going
Chimay
on.
is Trappist.
Yes, so it has a little bit of that monk funk. You get a little bit of booze in there, but I'm telling you, normally I consider having a little bit of booze in a beer as kind of a detractor, but in those Belgian quads, man, I really like that little bit of booze. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, that's good. And I just sat there, I savored 2 of them this weekend, and that was about lights out for me. But man, it was really, really good. Completely blown away. That's like a 5-star beer for me, dude.
I'm so glad to hear that, man. So glad to hear that. Oh, well, you know what? We actually just cracked a friend of mine. He gave me a beer. Blackjack. Oh, God. What the hell was it called? Blackjack Raspberry Choco.
Choco Loco?
Anyways, my good friend Sean, he saved me a bottle. It's a porter.
Thanks, Sean, for hooking us up. By the way, dude.
Oh, and for this thing too, he got one of those bottles.
Oh, it was the same guy.
He's got a bottle cutter.
Yeah.
So
I have the other one, Sean, and I have it in my house.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Thank you,
the Cali Belchique.
Sean is a fantastic home brewer. Does a lot of stuff fantastically, if that's even a freaking word. Regardless, he made this porter that really kind of was impressive. It doesn't taste like a homebrew at all. And I've had a lot of homebrews, but this was like a vanilla chocolate raspberry porter that just knocked our socks off. Just loved it.
Dude, really, really, seriously. And I'm not just saying that because it was free beer and to kiss someone's ass. You know, that was legitimately, that was a really good. Wow, it was the only beer I think I've ever had that had a red head.
Oh yeah, it didn't look like a lambic or like a fruit beer.
I'll be honest. When I poured it and I saw how red it was, I'm like, oh,
this is framboise.
I don't know about this, man. I had a bad experience with that Founder Rubeus, and I don't know.
Rubeus,
so I saw that,
yes.
but man, that was pretty legit, man.
No, I'm glad.
Nice
to hear that.
and clean and big. It was like we were saying. It tasted like melted raspberry ice cream.
Yeah.
Chocolate and raspberry ice cream.
Well,
really super rich and super sweet. Really, really nice.
I have a lot of friends that are homebrewers, and unfortunately, I've never really had the patience to be one, or necessarily the money. I just don't have the space in my house, whatever. So when he does one, it's like he always saves me at least 2 or 3 of his bottles, and it's always nice because it's like it's very, very cool. It's like an art form. It really is, and I have a lot of respect for homebrewers, and so I'm always glad to at least taste them, and of
Absolutely.
course, 9 times out of 10, they're just fantastic. Yep. So
my fear with home brewing that I would spend all these hours, having the whole house smell like a malt fart, and end up turning out something that was, say my goal would be to make to start out like a Two-Hearted clone. I know it will come out tasting like a skunked PBR,
a Two-Hearted foot, right?
Yeah. So
okay.
that's why I stayed away from it. I know I'd probably lose cred. But man, I'd rather just go and buy a one that's absolutely perfect.
I know. But
plus, you got to pick your battles when you're married. You know that, Ronnie.
Dude, always.
You can't just be, hey, babe, I just dropped $1,000 on a homebrew kit. Gonna be making our own beer, so the dishwasher's gonna be full with empties. I had to sanitize the. Yeah, I'm not going down that road.
Are we cool?
Dude.
No. There's too much kid stuff in the way. But
yeah,
I also I did one of those mixer 6-packs at the grocery store. Picked up CITRA-MANTRA by Otter Brewing. And what drew me in really was the artwork. It was basically typical hippie with he's kind of meditating and he's got hops hovering above his hands, and it was immediately I'm like, wow, CITRA-MANTRA, this has got to be awesome. Obviously, you probably know by now, single hopped Citra hops. But the interesting thing is, it's not an IPA; it's an IPL. So lager yeast, super clean. Really, it was almost like a. Like when you smell weed,
no, I've never. I was a choir boy.
I'm a choir boy as well.
Yeah.
I never. But anyways, when it's that kind of skunk.
Nice.
Not like you hit one with your car skunk. Somebody's at a party. So it was really kind of in a good way, and it really mixed well with the citrus. And it was almost like a tropical fruit type thing going on. But again, that's kind of what you get from the citrus hops or Citra hop. But it was great. I gave it a 3.5 on Untapped, and definitely could do a couple more. But again, congratulations to Otter Creek Brewing. I've never been to the brewing company, but they definitely kind of, again, put me back more on the beer radar there, and kind of, I'm going to check out some other stuff.
I got to check out some stuff from these guys. Why have I never heard of these guys?
Well, they don't really. Okay, so it's OCB, Otter Creek Brewing. That's how they branded themselves, and it's just like, I think they could use. That's what was so impressive with the label, was it just drew me in. And immediately it was like, whoever did this thought of this through, and this drunk Ronnie Miller is going to pick this out in a 6-pack. So that really worked out well. And again, I'll have it again. Again. It was fairly tasty. So
sweet.
Yeah.
Cool.
But this week has been pretty good. As far as beer drinking is concerned, I think I checked in like 5 or 6 over the weekend. But I've been very, very weary of how many calories and stuff are in beer, because it definitely shows. And I'm trying to lose weight. You're just trying to pretty much maintain and keep the guns going, that type of thing. I know.
No. Well, this is kind of the deal. You and I we both love beer. Mm-hmm. We both had, will I say, weight issues?
Yeah, but
to a certain extent, but you know what I mean? Like, I won't say, we're not talking like gastric bypass type
No,
things.
no. Right.
We can both see our feet for the most part.
And I can see my schwangs most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when
Depends
you're
how
not,
cold it is.
Right. That's true. There's that factor. But yeah, it's hard though, man. It's hard like drinking craft beer, and not just the beer, but the things that are usually associated with drinking.
Dude.
So I've actually put this together for you. I think this is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a couple of beers, and I want you to guess.
Right.
You keep a pretty good eye on calories.
Yeah.
You watch your calories.
Yeah, I do.
You know generally, okay, I got to keep it around X amount every day and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, or else you skip a snack, or you do just something to kind of make sure you can have that beer at the end of the night.
So here we go.
Right.
A two-hearted ale. A two-hearted ale. We all know two-hearted ale. We all love two-hearted ale. One 12-ounce serving of two-hearted ale is how many calories, Ronnie Miller?
See, I would always like to think it's like in the 150 range. Is that?
It's a little north of that.
Is it really?
It's 214 calories.
Jeez, I'm crow, dude.
But that's okay.
Right.
That's one thing. 214 calories. You can kind of live with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, Founder's Imperial Stout. Okay, big, like 10, 11% Imperial Stout, calorie-wise. What do you think?
No idea. I mean, I always think stout, it's got to be more calories in it, right? Is it in the 250 range?
It's 315 calories.
Oh my god!
For a 12-ounce serving.
That's like a meal on my diet plan.
See, the thing is, though, when you look at a lot of these calories, it's like, well, 315 calories, that's not a whole lot. But how many times are you having just one beer?
Rare.
How many times are you having a beer and then not eating the fried onion rings or a big Bavarian pretzel or something like that?
Cheese.
And here's another one, Ronnie, and I know you're an Omegan guy, so I'll give you this.
Love it.
How many times have you bought a bottle of Three Philosophers and you said, well, maybe I'll drink this over the course of an evening? A big 750 ml bottle, you're home alone, that type of thing. You made the commitment for $9.99 or whatever it was. You got a good deal. That one big bottle of Three Philosophers.
How much?
Calories. Guess.
Oh, gee. Okay, so 750, 300, no, it's got to be up 400 something.
588 calories.
Holy jeez.
So, boom! It's a pretty big commitment there. And again, the whole thing is with drinking, and you've lost a bunch of weight. I've lost a ton of weight while enjoying beer. So for the people that are conscious of this is my general rules of advice on this whole thing. Number 5, I got 5 things here. Choosing a session beer for long events, like the Founder's Session or All Day IPA, something that's like 140 calories of beer where you can have a few of them.
Yeah.
Avoiding the big bottles if you can.
That tough because
that is tough. You got to focus. You got to factor in price with that.
Yeah.
And a lot of different things.
If you're going to a party or like a friend's house, make sure you bring a big bottle because that'll kind of save you in the long run. A, you're drinking the mega good beer, and B, you're kind of cutting the calories in half by sharing it.
If you can get it in a 12-ounce serving, that would be ideal rather than committing yourself to a big thing. The other thing is avoiding the bar food because normally we go out, you have a couple beers and all of a sudden you're ordering bang bang shrimp and everything else.
Because they have the best wings in town.
The best
That's
best
what they
everything.
always say.
And it's always something like that.
I gotta try them. They're the best.
And of course, number 2 would be exercise. Naturally, I'm not going to get into a whole dissertation about what you should do to exercise. Be active for 30 minutes a day. Go run. Ride a bike, ride a unicycle.
That'll at least kind of keep you on an even keel,
Yeah. Some type of activity, 30 minutes a day, get your heart rate up, lift weights, do whatever you want to do. The most important thing, though, I think, is counting your calories and keeping yourself accountable. Find out what your daily, whether you're trying to lose weight or maintain weight, find out what your caloric needs are.
Yeah.
From that standpoint, okay, I have to consume 2,000 calories a day, and to lose weight, I got to consume 1,700 calories a day.
Yeah.
And then track it. There's some great apps like MyFitnessPal to track your progress, and they have a lot of beers
are in it.
A lot of beers are in it. They
Just
had like
scan the
Enjoy
barcode?
By. They had Enjoy By in here. They
impressive.
had like Hop Slam. They had all these crazy beers in there, so you can at least hold yourself accountable to make sure you're keeping an eye on those calories and all that kind of stuff. So. Whatever. We both actually, believe it or not, have lost. I know
Well,
you've
continue
been
to drink. I've lost. This session it was January 4th of this year, down 23 pounds.
Did we get the applause thing for yourself? We don't have it right there.
I just got
Okay.
man.
All right, you get one of those.
And maybe.
It was magic.
It's magic.
It
No,
magically just went away.
Worked my ass off to get,
Yeah.
I mean, less fat. That's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get less fat. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I want to keep the heart health going. But again, they keep releasing all these articles about how great beer is if you have one a day, how great it is for your health and your heart and your blood, endocrine system, your... I don't think I've heard said endocrine system since like the 6th grade. Anyways.
Last time I heard that mentioned, I think Gary Busey was going on some tirade about, I'm going to rip out your endocrine system. It was something insane like that. So I'm glad you reminded me of that.
But you know what? It's always a pleasure. Great week 3. We're going to have a lot of surprises in store for next week. We've got a couple of feelers out. Hopefully we'll have a decent big guest. And I'm not really I haven't even told Eric about it. And I don't want to, I'm just going to tease it. That's what you do with podcasts and stuff. You tease it. We're going to have somebody kind of cool.
Oh, you better be able to deliver now. Because what's the other rule about teases? You have to deliver on the tease. You have to deliver on the tease.
That's true. But anyways, again, a great week 3 is in the books. Number 3. Namaste. Good luck beer hunting. If you need anything from us, we're always on Twitter at Brewed Radio. We're also on Facebook. Just search Craft Brewed Radio. We're hopefully, with number 3 in the books, now it's like, we got a nice little rhythm here. So again,
we're getting it.
Thank you so much for joining me as always, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Check out what the guys are sipping on this week. Follow them on Twitter at Brewed Radio and on Facebook at facebook.com/craftbrewed radio. You're listening to Craft Brewed Radio, an iHeartRadio station.